Hello, family. I believe we are doing well. This is a very sensitive consideration or sensitive subject I want us to look at in the light of what I've been talking about lately on polygamy. Now, I chanced upon a video that I find many in today's modern world might frown on, but I want to say something little about that video for you to understand, in my opinion, what the mind of God is. So let's watch the video. When we are done, I'll tell you what I have to say.
Jacob slept with 4 women under the same tent: Leah, Rachel, and their 2 servants Bilhah and Zilpah, all at the same time, all under the same roof, all bearing his children. And according to the Bible, he did nothing wrong. Not one verse condemns him. Not one law was broken. Not one commandment was violated. Now imagine one of those women had touched another man. She would have been put to death. This is the rule that governed every marriage in the ancient world, and it is one of the hardest things for a modern reader to absorb. Adultery in the Bible was not what we think it is. It was not about betrayal. It was not about broken trust. It was not about love. It was about property. A wife in biblical law was the property of her husband. He purchased her from her father with a bride price, a payment that transferred ownership of her body, her sexuality, and every child she would ever bear. The 10 Commandments make this explicit. "You shall not covet your neighbor's wife" appears in the same sentence as his manservant, his maidservant, his ox, his donkey, nor anything that belongs to your fellow. She is listed among his possessions, not beside him, among his things. Because the wife was property, adultery was not a sin that a husband could commit against her. He could marry a second wife, a third, a 10th. He could take concubines. He could sleep with his female servants. None of this was considered a violation of his first wife's rights, because she had no rights over his body. He had rights over hers. But if a married woman, or even a woman who was only betrothed, only promised, was touched by another man, both of them had committed a capital crime. Not against the marriage, against the husband. Another man had used his property without permission. The violation was so severe that the Bible places it in the same category as killing and idol worship, the 3 sins that physically contaminate the Holy Land itself. King David married at least 6 senior wives and kept 10 concubines. The Bible does not criticize a single one of these relationships. But when he took Bathsheba, a woman who belonged to Uriah the Hittite, the prophet Nathan appeared in his court and delivered a curse that would haunt David's family for generations. "The sword shall never depart from your house." Not because David had been unfaithful to his wives, because he had stolen another man's property. This was not cruelty for its own sake. In a world without police, without courts, without any institution outside the family, a man's ownership of his wife was the only structure holding households together. If another man could take her, the entire system collapsed. Inheritance, bloodlines, alliances, everything. Adultery wasn't a private sin. It was an attack on the foundation of civilization itself. But here is what the law never paused to consider. On the nights when Jacob walked past Leah's tent and into Rachel's, or when David added yet another woman to a palace already overflowing with wives, there was no word in the language for what the woman left behind was feeling. No law acknowledged her pain. No commandment protected her dignity. She was not cheated on, because in the eyes of the law, there was nothing to cheat on. She didn't own him. She was simply one of his possessions, and a man can always acquire more.
Now, when you look at the video we just watched, the first thing that will come into your mind that, hey, this is something against women. Now, I want you to understand this. The reason why women today are very aggressive and don't like the idea of submission is not really their fault. They have been in submission before. That's what we have to realize, that women have been in submission before. And when they were in submission, it was abused, maltreated. Like some of you have seen videos where you see a woman carrying a child, carrying a baby at the back, still carrying firewood, ignored by the husband. The man becomes very lazy and treats the woman anyhow. He takes advantage of the fact that he can have multiple wives to treat the women just anyhow. And women have come out of these things. And so there is that strong hatred for such a thing like what you are saying there. But what I want to say is that they're going the extreme end of also trying to be the same as a man and fight with a man, what they call feminism, also has this great effect, and that's what is causing all the harm in marriages not working. I know my right. You can't tell me this. I can't do this. Blah, blah, blah. You do this. I do this. That's what is creating a mess up in marriage. So what do? I think a balance will do. I believe that everything that was said in the video we just watched is the truth. But if you look at the men in question, like Jacob, like David that was mentioned, like even Abraham, they didn't use it as an occasion for bullying. They didn't maltreat the women. They didn't do that. You see, if you study Ephesians, the Bible says that, wives, submit yourselves as unto the Lord, which is very serious. He didn't say submit to your husbands. He says submit to your husbands like you are submitting to the Lord. That's a perfect submission. You submit to him fully, like that's the idea of ownership. You are fully his. But immediately he says, husbands, love your wives like Christ loved the church. I'm saying this. If women would be totally submissive to men and men would decide to love, not taking advantage of their submission, I'm telling you, we are going to have marriages succeeding, marriages working far better than they are doing today. I believe in everything that was said in the video, you see, but somebody who is immature, a male who is immature, will take advantage of that. And that's what is creating the problem. That's why no woman wants to even hear that. So there is responsibility on the part of the woman, and there's responsibility on the part of the man. The responsibility on the part of the woman is for her to understand that this is the Bible, and this is the reality of the Bible. That's why he pays a bright price. He pays it to own you. He pays it to own you, and it is the truth. That's how God designed it. But just like anybody who own a Bugatti, own a very expensive, precious car, what will you do to the car? I'm telling you, some people treat their cars better than themselves. He would clean it regularly. He will fuel it. He will ensure it's neat. When there's a little scratch, he will go and paint it because he knows that the car represents his glory. Like the Bible says, the glory of the man is the woman. This car represents your glory. So if it is yours, what are you supposed to do? Not maltreat it, not mishandle it, but treat it in the best possible way. Treat it very nicely. And so there is a responsibility on the part of the woman to be in total submission to the husband. And there is responsibility on the part of the man to love, like give himself for his wife. In other words, even do for his wife what he will not even do for himself, sacrifice for her. And that kind of combination is what brings the glory of marriage. You see, so women don't want to be in the position we just watched in the video because they don't trust any man is going to handle them well, because he's going to take advantage of the opportunities he have, on the fact that he's the man, he can have wives, he will be misbehaving, blah, 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 blah. You see, but for me, I feel this video is very important, and I'm talking about it because we need to understand that if we don't also come to these terms, this modern way of marriage is creating a greater problem. It's creating more sin. It's creating more illicit relationship. It's creating all these things that is making us look like a confused society. No organized, no discipline, no structures. All players is like animals, and like free-range animals kind of things that is happening. It would have changed everything. There would have been structure, there would have been order, there would have been the privileges of the man, the privileges of the woman, There would have been what he's permitted to and what he's not. And that would have brought a better society. For me, I want to just say this. There is really nothing wrong with a woman fully being in submission and being in the position of thinking the way that the video suggests. Let me even add one important thing. Do you know that one of the early people or first people that Solomon got married to was the daughter of Pharaoh? And do you know that after he married the daughter of Pharaoh, Solomon went ahead to marry 999 more? Did you ever read that Pharaoh's daughter rose up and said, me, a whole daughter of Pharaoh, you have married me and you are going to marry another person? She never did that. Think about it in today's world. Imagine somebody gets married to the president's daughter, and even the person is suggesting to marry another person. It will be like, hey, you are married to a whole president's daughter. So you could see there is a mindset we have in this time that makes certain things look very bad and very some way. But Solomon married Pharaoh's daughter and married other kings' daughters and married other women in Israel. And none of the women ever came out to say, why have you done that? Because they understood that was a privilege, a right a man has. And then again, like I said, if you would do such a thing, you must be a highly responsible man, because you have to love all of them equally. Take care of all of them equally. One of them shouldn't be an escape from one. They should be both your own, that just like when you own 2 good cars or 3 good cars, you take care of all of them. You use all of them. You fuel all of them. You don't take one and leave the other. So if you could be that responsible, then that is okay. And why is this thing necessary now? My dear, no Christian lady should be struggling for marriage. Go among the Muslims and find out if there is any Muslim lady who is worried she might not marry. No Muslim lady is worried she might not marry. To them, the most important thing is what kind of man they will marry. But actually, they know they can always have a husband. If they don't come first, they can come second or third. So they are okay. They don't struggle. They don't become desperate. Like today, you see a small foolish boy, forgive my language, trying to date a very beautiful, responsible lady, and he's misbehaving with the lady. Why? Because men are not available. So in quote, even the foolish ones have a chance to some glorious properties and they are messing it up. But if such a system was allowed, some men would have had the opportunity to absorb some of these glorious women. And the young guys would have been forced to mature, to be men before they can get even a girlfriend. But now it's so cheap. You see, in the presence of monogamy, women, that's what women don't know, that when we speak about polygamy, we are speaking about their value. Monogamy only has made women cheap. They thought that if I am married to one, I'm going to be expensive. But what you are not realizing is that when you have that one, number one, there are many women who will not get husbands, will definitely be putting pressure on this one man, and it will make the whole union quite cheap because they are SS. Oh, yeah, rough, me. That's what divorce too is about. Because when you misbehave, he will divorce you and go for another person. Because they are there plenty. At age 45, if he wants it to, he will get some. So they become, in quote, cheap because of this principle of monogamy. Because if there are 50 apples and there are 4 people to pick and they can pick only one, okay, what that means that after they pick the one, the rest have a chance of spoiling. They are in excess. I mean, if I'm selling a product and people have come to buy 4 and there's excess of 46, what will I do? I'll sell it cheaper. So it will just go off for me. So monogamy only has made people cheap. In the presence of polygamy, great successful people, responsible men, matured men who are doing very well, absorb more, which means that they have a chance to influence more ladies to become great, add up and raise great children. Like, imagine people like the great Sir Kwame Despite having 4 different women, 5 different women. The opportunities that 5 different families have a chance to learn if they don't go there with greed, but they go with the mind, we are connected to a great person. If we can learn his wisdom, make use of his connection, make use of his opportunity, 4, 5 different families could be saved, could enter into a great prosperity. So that's what we are talking about. What is described in the Bible, there is nothing wrong. Only the abuse of men and the pain many women have gone through, and all this Rockefeller group forcing feminism and then they promoting monogamy has now made women feel that that is a wrong thing. But there is nothing wrong with that. Now that's just my little view on that video, that if we go back to God's structure as designed, as shown, and we will do it in the right way, we'll have a very beautiful Christian community compared to the one we are having, that people claim they are monogamous, but they are just sleeping people around. That's worse. irresponsibility. That's not the proper way. That's what my view. If you don't support my view, it's fine. Thank you for watching. Bless you.